A dying shark lies gasping on the sand, bleeding from the mouth and gills. It turns its dark and soulless eyes to you. Its bloody gills open in search of water, but find only air. It gasps in the air, struggling for the breath to speak. Its own blood froths at its mouth.
No! Die here! Monsters in the water! Monsters in the deep! Monsters bigger! More and more growing!
It looks at you with its cold, flat eyes as if to say, do what you will. Then it turns away and gets back to drowning in the bloody... It looks at you with its cold... As the dead man's flesh slides down your throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. She reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself with a jolt. A boy at swim. Your name is Joe. You're 9. You're brave. You're off to see your mum. A shadow moves below you. A jagged vice closes on your thigh and pulls you down. Water fills your lungs. Blood billows. You are a tough, dwarven smith of great experience and talent. You wanted to make a name for yourself, but you ran out of time. Your mind is empty as a new moon. Something seems to have cleared it out. Scrubbed the corners, bleached the halls. The nothingness is oddly comfortable. You cover your face with your hands. You've just heard the news. The elven homelands have been destroyed by death fog. It was your order who did it. How can this be? You are a man, a human man. They called you a paladin for most of your life. As the blade slices through your neck, a single name echoes through your mind. Ahu. You are floating a few inches above the ground. Your friends are impressed. You bask in their hoots and hollers. Your favorite party trick. You thought hard on the location of your fortune before passing. You wanted an elf to find it. You urge whoever tastes your flesh to go and enjoy what you cannot. Your grip tightens around the blade's hilt. You never felt such rage. These freaks, they are tearing the world apart. They must not live. Rivellon must survive. You are awash with muddled thoughts, confusion, anger, sadness, loathing, a shocking absence of joy. You hardly recognize him, but there he is, Alexander. You're shocked to see a sorcerer's collar around his neck. He seems so different now compared to how he looked back in school.
I could have sworn my helmet just jolted when I consumed sauce just now. What happened here? That void woken had something in its claws.
Yield to none!
A Magister caravan. I remember one just like this picking me up. Could have been a shipment to Fort Joy. What happened here?
No, no, no! Can't be real. Not real. Not happening. No, it's not true. Can't be true. No, no, no! Can't be real. Not real. Not happening. No, it's not true. Can't be true. No, no, no!
White as driftwood salt, the dwarf flinches at your approach, yet she holds a short, clean blade aloft. Her fierce stance can't hide the trembling of her fingers.
Back! Back! Magister, I'll kill you, just like the rest of them!
She slumps, all bravado draining from her.
No, 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 no. I've never seen anything like those beasts before. Are they gone? Those? Yes. Worst ones I've ever seen. Ripped through the Magisters. The dwarves. Dead. 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 And the sorcerers. Sorcerers. Gone.
Her eyes stare vacantly into the distance, glassy as marbles. It's not cold, yet her shivering is relentless.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Duna's beard. Lohar. My boss Lohar will want to know what happened to them, but I can't remember. Her helping sorcerers. We thought we could help them against the Magisters, but...
She flinches at the slightest rustle of wind through the long grass. Terror in her eyes, she stumbles away from you. A scruffy kid bounds up and stands before you, hands on hips. He stares at your face, doubt screwing up his features.
You Ben Mez? Righto, got a message for you. Chap called Baron Laveri wants to see you. Black Bull Tavern, first floor.
The kid shoves his hands in his pockets and ambles off, whistling an off-key tune.
Did you hear? The eggs are gone. Gone for good. No one to keep them warm. No one to keep them safe. Not my eggs, our eggs. All the family, all the eggs, every last one. Big Marge, sir. Big Marge will tell you everything.
In a flurry of feathers, she leaps up and pecks a small hole in your map.
That's where they are. I went after my babies. I saw where they went. But they changed so much, so much, much, much. Bring them back. Ah!
Please, why would I kill Lucian's second most charming son? Come now. Is this really necessary?
Into the dark with you.
The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discoloured. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, Godwoken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or, indeed, you could stand there gawping as if I just run off with your femur. You might not have the brains anymore, but I pray you've managed to keep some wits. Be quick about it before the next Magistrate patrol realizes something is amiss. God's teeth, it feels good to move again. Now...
There's one unaffected egg behind them. Perhaps there's still a chance. There you are, little egg.
Baby's gone! Stolen egg! Stolen! Help! 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 Transformed! Not a chicky baby anymore! All gone! All gone for good!
She leaps up and grabs the egg with her foot, kicking it under her warm underbelly and settling down upon it contentedly.
Shh, 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 little beeper baby, Mama's here, warm and here with you again.
She cocks a black eye up at you and winks.
Thank you. I have something for you. Something I buried behind the coop. It's yours. It's yours. Unless some other scratchly poker found it first, of course.
I've spotted something. I need a shovel.
Get yourself in check, boy. I won't have you running off like Millicent and Tully. You'll just end up sliding down some Voidwoken's gross gullet piece by piece.
The older-looking Magister notices your presence. He wipes his grubby hands downward across his greaves, as if to wipe away the grime, but instead smears more dirt onto them.
Halt! What word do you bring?
His face goes pale, and his eyes open wide. The Magister that greeted you remains stiff, as if enduring a harsh wind.
The Voidwoken come.
Hush, Fader. You may pass, traveller. Dare say you'll be aching to leave before long anyway. But before you do, find Raymond, the White Magister. He'll want to know what you've seen. Be quick, mind. He's set to sail any moment.
He nods his head in the direction of the bridge, but offers no other instructions.
As long as you stay put, you'll be safe.
Are you sure? Them sorcerers from the caravan?
They'd be daft to come back. And as long as there's no sorcerers, there's no Voidwoken. You're fine as long as you don't go wandering.
Last time I was here, I summoned my wolf right in the tavern. All hell broke
Oh, we dwarves had a
Good
kingdom,
times.
and we will have
Good
it back.
times.
I won't always be sweet.
Wonder if they'll remember me.
My word, but you do look exhausted. I bet you could use a touch of magic.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit you, ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Yep.
Calm as a coiled spring held...
You needing supplies? I'd stock up if I were you. It's madness out there. Never seen anything like it.
Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Until later, then.
If I don't come visit you, ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree?
I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much.
You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Hear ye! Hear ye! Queen Justinia executes two latest news! Fresh.
The Silent Watcher's jaw
A dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Wars are brewing, my friend. I'll stand by your side. But prices will go up, even for one of our own. Buy now and buy often.
Who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You're safe among friends. Never forget. Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit you, ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. How you holding up?
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Well met, friend. Interested in Driftwood's finest?
You look down at the cart and see fish with flaking scales, tumours and, in one case, 3 heads.
It's free to look their travels, friend.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
Hello, mister.
The little boy looks at you. He picks his nose.
You be careful. My daddy's a magister.
No, he's not. His daddy's a fisherman like most daddies round here. We're waiting for our friend. He went for a swim. He'll be back soon.
He went swimming all the way to Fort Happy.
Fort Joy?
That's what I said. Fort Joy. He's going to find his mum and bring her back. Cool. How did you know that?
Mister, have you seen our friend Joe?
The horror grows on their little faces.
No, that's a horrible thing to say. I bet it wasn't Joe. I bet it was someone else's leg in that icky shark.
She bursts into tears. Ben looks from you to her and back again, then starts crying too. After a moment, the crying subsides.
You're cold. So where's Joe? It's okay to say you don't know. You don't have to make stuff up.
I think we should go home. Come on, Ben. Thank you, mister. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, mister.
They skip away, still children, but now, somehow, older than before.
now. Keep hauling that cargo. That's it. The barrels and the... Go on, you mute sacks of flesh. Put your backs into it. I'll not lose another day to the tide. The Lord Dread awaits. Its sails billow with Dallas's breath.
The Magister stops, barking orders. He sniffs the air like a predator, turns to face you, the wolf eyeing the deer.
You do not get to make that decision. That decision is mine. A good day? Let's talk about a good day. Tell me, have you ever been strung up by the hands? Your body swinging like a bell's clapper as your bones are being broken with cast iron rods? We do cruel things unto others and unto ourselves because we must.
He licks his lips. Dry flesh turns wet.
See, I'd like to string you up too. Rack you with rods and leave you dangling over a puddle of your own blood and piss. In that case, you'd better think very carefully about the next words that escape your stinking trap. I'm very good at what I do, see? I don't even need a sauce hound yapping at my side. There was a whiff of something in the air when you approached. A current of filth, that is to say, sauce. Best convince me I was mistaken.
He leans in closer and sniffs the air once more.
Interesting. So I was mistaken. Must have been ambition I smelt on you, not the magic that dare not speak its name. Very well. In that case, we'll forego the gallows and turn straight to the hunt. The very definition of your order's existence. Seems peaceful here, doesn't it? A quiet day in a quiet town. One wouldn't think these drifting woods toss on dwarf-troubled waters. But they do. Consider for a moment the dwarf. What is he? A mule? A beast of burden? But some defy that role. There are rats among them, dancing to their rat queen's tune. I've need of a rat catcher. Of course, I must depart post-haste, but Julian here will stay behind and be a good little parrot. Ah.
Stay behind? But I've my orders, same as you. Dallas.
Like I said, Julian is staying. And with that, I must be off. No hard feelings about the death threats, of course. How about we part shaking hands instead of stringing them up?
There's a moment of fleeting suspicion as his glove closes round the bones of your hand, but only a moment. He grins darkly.
How very heartwarming. One last thing. The Magisters here are diligent men and women. A stranger like you may run into troubles with them. Should this happen, just wave this piece of parchment in their eager little faces. My signature will placate them without fail, I assure you. Adieu and good luck. The Lord Dread awaits. The use of the gallows I pass on to you. The time has come, my stitched-lit lovelies. We set sail. Get on board and man your stations.
Left behind like a dog. Bah! 7 curses upon that ship.
The Magister is rubbing the dirt off his robes, none the worse for wear, apparently, from the blast of magic that knocked him off his feet.
You! The supposed source hunter! I'd be whining and dining aboard the Lord Dread if it weren't for you. Your meddling in Magister affairs had better be worth it.
Yes, I am very much aware. Wasn't my damned head that hit the floor back there.
Now answer me. Did you meet with a Magister caravan on your way into town? The hour's growing late and I'm beginning to worry something might have gone by the Bishop's bones. You saw it? Out with it, man. What happened? Voidwoken. That means Source was used. Which means some third party must have attacked first. And I've a fair idea who that might have been. Raymond, that old goat, always suspected there's more to the Driftwood dwarves than meets the eye. Hate to admit it, but I think he may be right. Too many things have gone wrong along Reaper's Coast to attribute to bad luck. Magister ships sinking, weapons disappearing, and as you've seen, a caravan attacked and destroyed. Rumour has it the Dwarvian Queen herself is behind these acts of sabotage. That is what There's a local thug, Lohar. He runs an operation out of his hideout beneath the Black Bull Tavern. I suspect this man of being a spy for his queen.
It may be interesting to have a word with him. Find out what he's up to. Where I really want you to ferret around is Reaper's Bluffs, to the west of Driftwood.
It's wild territory, remote and hostile, where I believe the dwarves may have set up a base of operations away from prying eyes. Should you find any such place, and better yet, proof that Lohar is working on behalf of Queen Justinia, you will be handsomely rewarded, I assure you. They've always been snakes in the grass. Cheap labour, sure, and hard workers too. Half of them are their Queen's spies. Her eyes, her ears, her poison-pouring hands. You know what Queen just a strategist to boot.
Ifan Ben Mesd is our living braze. I don't know how you got free, but it'll be back to the joy with you, and no mistake. Who could forget? Best night's business the healer had in months. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong. Your little tricks won't work on me, Ben Mesd.
One eye squints, the other bulges out even further, as if to compensate.
Oh, it's you, all right. It's definitely you. Your little tricks won't work on...
She considers your offer.
How much? So much? You have to be hiding something, and I'm sure Dallas will be well able to find out what that something is. Now, come on. Back into a cage where you belong. Your little tricks won't work on me, Ben.
The Magister grabs the coin and looks around shiftily, then turns back to you.
Get out of here, and don't let...
You're safe among friends.
I think that lunatic Siva is loose again. We won't be so gentle when we catch her this time.
Taken too early, all hope
destroyed. The path thus ended, the conclusion of a noble bloodline. Who shall rise? Who gains the title most divine? We wait, we wander and wonder, seeking signs from the gods.
I don't think you know even the smaller guy bit you on the arse.
Hold it. Papa no, you no go.
He grins, unpleasantly.
Loha didn't tell me to let anyone of your description in, so why should I? Cute. Sounds something like my 15-year-old daughter would try. No go. But I'll certainly remember your face now. You again? I told you to scrap. You can't buy my friend, but you can buy 10 seconds of me eyeballs examining the ground for, well, let's say, a small fortune. You look like you'd be good for it.
He pockets the coin and gazes dramatically at the ground mere inches from your feet.
What's this? I found something. I need to dig here.
Look at that. A fresh face. And a pretty little kisser it is, too. Welcome be, Governor. Take a load off and enjoy Effie's plunder down under.
Ifan approaches you, a drink in his hand and a wide smile on his face. He clearly feels at home in this grimy place.
You don't drink, right? But how about a chat while we're in a safe, well, safe enough place?
He grins and claps you on the back, full of good cheer.
It's really been some adventure so far, eh?
Ifan's eyebrows raise, and his cheeks color beneath his beard.
I'd say the same about you. I'm never lonely when you're around.
Ifan smiles, shyly. It's not a familiar expression on his rugged face. He inches closer to you, so close that you can feel the heat of his body warming you. You can smell his scent, wild and animalistic.
Fane.
He reaches out one scarred hand to touch you, gentle as can be. Trembling, he smiles. Closing his eyes, he moves to embrace you too. Noise erupts in the under-tavern around you as patrons cheer and clap your affectionate moment. Ifan meets your eyes and laughs softly, pulling you into a bear hug.
Let's try this again sometime, when there's not quite so much company.
He squeezes your hand and winks, only moving away when he sees your answering smile.
What do you want? Boss is busy. Good. Boss could use some good news. Listen up. Don't waste his time. These are explosive times. Be respectful.
Easy. Marla's one of us.
I brought you up from girl to woman, Marla. Like you was my own. This.
He lifts his right arm, showing a white bandage beneath his ribs. A wet red spot shows through.
This ain't the thanks I expected. Who sent you?
The formidable dwarf slams his fist on the side table. You hear a loud crack.
Enough! Do you know they killed Anhar? Do ya? Start talking sense or I'll take that tongue right out of your mouth and fry it for supper. Bart, Cade, get her to talk or bleed her out. She ain't one of mine anymore.
His sneer travels from the restrained dwarf to you.
And you. You better have a damn good reason for coming here.
You're one of us. How could you do it?
Brave lad, waltzing in here now. I hope for your sake you've got good news for me. You came into my house, bub, not the other way around.
He winces loudly and holds a hand to the bandage on his side. The large red...
Leave the wound alone and it'll patch itself right up. Longer it takes, the less likely you'll let it happen again.
You're making this much harder than it needs to be.
If it won't heal, then it's your time to go. So, how'd you make it out of Fort Joy? I've got to say I'm impressed. I love a good story. Here's one I heard lately. A group of strangers landed on the beaches outside town. Meister Seaver's people. You one of her little seekers? Chasing down Godwoken and begging them to save us all? That's so.
He leans back and narrows his eyes, looking you up and down.
You know, the order's been going on about Godwoken for an eon now. Voidwoken's still lurking, though. And they're still hauling folks off to the Joy. So if you are who you say you are, what's the point of you? Let me guess. Seaver sent you off looking for sorcerers. I could help you. But last I heard you was working for the Magisters. Big shots at the boats. Now, why in the name of all the hurts would I help a worm like that? What a load of shite. Seaver's got an eye for talent, though. Maybe there's something to you. I reckon I could help you out, depending on what you can do for me. Everything costs something round here.
He gestures towards the bandage across his side.
Had a bit of family trouble lately. My girl Marla got it in her head to come after me with a short blade. That ain't like Marla. Ain't like her to pull the silent treatment either. Something's going on. And wouldn't you know it, that blade she used wasn't any normal bit of steel. Belonged to another of my people. Guy's name is Mordus. Bit of a loner, but smart as hell. I sent a few guys to go check on him, see if he knew what had got into Marla, but no one can find him. I'd like a word with the guy. Glad you see it that way. No one's seen him in a good few. I've got some people checking out his house near the tavern now, though. Tell them I sent you, and they'll let you know what they've found. Good. One more thing. Like I said, Mordus is a sorcerer. Maybe even one of the ones Seaver's after. If there's something you want to find out from him, you might want to ask before I have my word with him. Here, you can take this off my hands. More suited to your kind, really. Good luck.
Tell the truth now. Who was it that sent you?
You're one of us. How could you do it?
The battered dwarf pulls her lips back into a garish, open-mouthed grin, flashing blood-stained teeth.
Tell the truth now. Who was it that sent you?
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot.
Absolutely not. The coffers, man. The coffers, they're to be guarded day and night.
Yes, as you approach the silken-robed noble, Ifan does a double-take and laughs in recognition. He pulls you to one side.
I know this man, and he's not at all what he seems. A moment.
Ifan bounds forward and embraces the man, all effusive greetings. As they part, talking animatedly, the man's beard slips sideways down his face. He's wearing a disguise. Ifan laughs as he straightens the beard. They chatter away for some time, using a guttural cant you struggle to understand. At one point, the man says something and looks over at you intently. Ifan waves his hand and laughs. The man hunkers down and seems to be sketching a rough map on the floor, using an apple, some playing cards, and a fistful of threads pulled up from the carpet. Ifan claps the man on the back and turns to leave.
Well, now we know the way to the sawmill. And we know Roos thinks I'm bringing you there as part of the Godwoken contract.
You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot.
You've got to pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Hilka. You got that right.
Better watch yourself, lad. Doesn't this room... But, of course, I should hold my tongue and stand guard. All's well.
Here now, when one's in a small town, one must expect small town manners, I see.
You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot. Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy. You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot.
You got that right, Hilka. You got that right.
Have you a reason for barging into my room, sir? No harm done, I suppose. Though why I pay good money for these so-called bodyguards is... Still, I may as well introduce myself. Baron Levere, at your service. Travels, you say? And why would you assume I'm a travelling man?
He laughs heartily.
Of all things, I wouldn't have thought my boots would give me away, but you're quite right, of course. I am travelling, yes, to Arx. Lucian's Day will be upon us soon, a celebration no man with a heart that is both as pious and mercantile as mine should miss. I go because it is every citizen's duty, our communal obligation to chant the rites of the return and pray for Lucian's divine resurrection. That said, I do have more secular motivations as well. Arx positively overflows with pilgrims during the festival, pilgrims and their purses. As a merchant, it is quite my favorite day of the year.
Curiosity kills the cat, or gets it sent to Fort Joy.
the devil are you staring at?
Your beard, my lord. It seems less lush somehow.
It's as lush as it's always been. Now train your eyes on my treasures, not my person.
Yes, my lord.
Curiosity kills the cat. Or gets a sense of Fort Joy. Then you're an idiot.
The bell still rings. Do you hear it? Do you hear it?
Hey, Rudy.
That's not good. This must be the place Lohar mentioned. It looks unassuming enough. It won't budge.
The dwarf is unnaturally still. You might mistake her for a corpse, were it not for a slight twitch of her eyelids. She calmly opens her left eye, then her right.
What do you want?
The dwarf unfolds her arms and shoots to her feet.
All right, human. Well, glad Lohar ain't left us here to wither. Those brutes are taking their sweet time down there. I gotta send word soon. Get to it then. But tell the lunkheads that Glenn has sent you before they bash your brains in.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
You think a crowbar would open this thing? Oh, you got
I've
rocks
spotted something.
knocking around that noggin of yours. We'd have more luck asking Dooley to open it for us than for it to budge by our own hands.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
What's this? I found something. A skull. It's missing an eye. As far as locks go, this one's pretty macabre.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
You think a crowbar would open this thing? Oh, you got rocks knocking around that noggin of yours. We'd have more luck asking Dooley to open it for us than for it to budge by our own hands.
A skull. It's missing an eye. As far as locks go, this one's pretty macabre.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
You think a crowbar would open this thing? Oh, you got rocks knocking around that noggin of yours. We'd have more luck asking Dooley to open it for us than for it to budge by our own hands.
Maybe if we had a crowbar.
There we go. The door's opening.
By Doona's dagger. You here to free us or kill us?
The male dwarf expels 2 lungfuls of air and glances happily at his companion.
We've only been fretting here for a few hours, but it's felt like days. That snot-nosed priest's as slippery as a snake in an oil drum.
Ain't found nothing that lets on what Modus is up to. Only thing we managed were to close that door and get us stuck. And if there's another door out there, never could find it.
Lohar ain't gonna be pleased.